The year was 2381. Humanity had joined the stars.
Ow.
Earth was no longer the only home of humans. Now, humans studied and trained with aliens on space stations floating far from any planet. One of these stations was called Orion Academy. It was a massive, shining silver ring in deep space, spinning slowly to create artificial gravity. Students from 100 worlds trained here to become peacekeepers of the galaxy. Eli Parker, 19-year-old human cadet, walked through the quiet halls of Orion Academy. His black training uniform was dusty, and sweat dripped from his forehead. Combat class had been tough. He just wanted a shower and some rest as he reached his room. He noticed something strange. The door was slightly open. He paused. Did I forget to lock it? He whispered to himself. That wasn't like him. He slowly stepped inside and froze. There was someone in the room, a girl, but not a human girl. She had soft blue skin, silver white hair that floated like it was underwater, and glowing purple eyes. She stood near his bed, looking around curiously, touching things gently as books. His old Earth photos, his worn-out blanket. Eli blinked. You're in the wrong room. The alien girl turned to him, calm and relaxed. She smiled a soft, knowing smile and said, I know. Eli stared. Wait, what? I know this is your room, she said. Her voice was smooth. Like a song. That's why I'm here. Eli scratched his head. Okay, but why are you here? Who are you? The girl tilted her head. I'm Sira. I'm new here. There are hundreds of rooms, Eli said. Why mine? Sira stepped closer and looked him in the eye. Because something's going to happen here. In this room, something important. Eli took a step back. Is this a prank? Did Marcus send you? Because if this is some kind of joke, suddenly the lights in the room flickered. Then again, and again. The air felt heavy for a second, like pressure from deep underwater. Both of them looked around. What was that? Eli asked. Sira didn't answer right away. She walked to the center of the room and sat cross-legged on the floor. The rift is almost here. Rift. Eli frowned, like a hole. Sira nodded. A weak point in space and time. Something from another side tries to come through. It's small now, but growing. Eli laughed nervously. Okay, now I know this is a joke. There's no such thing. Suddenly the walls seemed to stretch for a brief second, as if the room had become elastic. The corner of the ceiling bent inward and snapped back. The air turned cold. Eli's heart skipped. What the hell was that? Sira stood up again. That's the rift. It's waking up. Eli rushed to his desk and opened his cum screen. He tapped fast, checking energy readings, environmental status, and gravity logs. Wait, he muttered. The energy levels. They're rising. This room is the only one affected. Because the rift is forming here, Sira said again. In your space. But why here? Why me? I don't know yet, Sira replied. But the artifact brought me here. It always leads me to the center. Artifact? He asked. Sira reached into a pouch at her side and pulled out a small metallic cube.
Ow.
It was smooth, but lines of light ran across it, glowing gently like breathing stars. She offered it to Eli. He took it carefully. The moment his fingers touched the cube, it lit up brighter. A soft hum filled the air. The walls shimmered again, as if reality itself was vibrating. Sira's eyes widened. It reacts to you. Eli dropped the cube. Nope. No thanks. I don't want to be part of this. You already are, Sira said gently. Before he could respond, a loud knock hit the door. It slid open, and two tall Academy security officers stepped inside. They saw Sira and drew their weapons. Step away from the human, one officer ordered. Hands up. Eli jumped in front of her. Wait, she didn't do anything. She's not on the registry, the guard said. No ID, no passcode. She broke in. No, Eli shouted. She didn't. Something weird is going on, but the room shook. The guards froze. Then, for a brief second, one guard's leg disappeared, just got vanished into the floor like it wasn't solid anymore. He screamed, and then the leg snapped back into Play stop, both guards panicked. What is this? Sierra stepped forward and raised her hand. The artifact floated up, spinning fast. A bubble of clear energy formed around them, pushing the warping air away. She's protecting us, Eli shouted. Don't shoot. The artifact pulsed. A strange light filled the room. Everyone saw it a flash. A vision, Earth, split into pieces, floating in space like broken glass. Buildings melted, skies darkened. Giant machines crashed from the heavens. Something dark and alive crawled through space toward the planet. Then the vision ended. The room was silent. The guards lowered, their weapons shaken. What? What was that? One whispered. Sira answered. A possible future. One we must stop. The guards looked at each other, confused and scared. We'll report this, one said quickly. Then they left. Eli sat down hard on his bed, breathing heavily. What is happening to me? Sierra picked up the cube and placed it back in her pouch. She looked at him softly. You asked why I came to your room, she said. Now do you understand? Eli nodded slowly. I think I do. Sierra walked to the window and looked out into the stars. This academy is just the surface. Beneath it, there's more. And now that the artifact chose you, your journey begins. Eli stood beside her, looking out at the endless space. He whispered, What happens next? Something impossible. Eli sat on the edge of his bed, still holding the strange metallic cube. His heart was pounding from everything that had just happened. The vision of Earth breaking apart stayed in his mind like a dark cloud. Sierra stood near the window, looking, calm but serious. Her glowing purple eyes reflected the stars outside. The artifact chose you, she said quietly. That means you have a connection to the rift. The rift? Eli repeated, still trying to understand. Is it some kind of door? Like a doorway to another place? Sierra nodded. Yes, but not a normal place. It is a tear in space and time. It connects our world to another dimension. Eli frowned. Another dimension? You mean like another universe? More than that, Sierra explained. The rift is a weakness between worlds. If it grows too big, things can come through things that don't belong here. Eli looked around nervously. What kind of things? Sierra's smile faded. The newly... Eli didn't recognize the name. Who are they? Sierra's voice dropped low. They are ancient energy beings. Long ago, they lost their home world. Because of human wars, they blame humanity for their loss. Now, they want to erase humans from all timelines. Eli's eyes widened. Erase humans? How? They use the rifts, she said. Open them to invade and destroy. Suddenly, the room shook again, gently this time. The lights flickered, and the walls warped. Eli grabbed the artifact. It hummed in his hand. We have to stop them, Sierra said. But how? Eli asked. We need to understand the rift, and how it grows, Sierra replied. We need to find others who know about these things. Just then, there was a knock at the door. Eli looked up to see Captain Doran, a tall human man with sharp eyes, step inside. Eli, Sierra, the captain, said. I want to speak with you both. Now. Eli stood up. What's going on? Captain Doran's gaze was serious. Security has reported strange energy surges coming from this room. You're not on the usual schedule, Sierra, and there are reports of rifts forming near the academy. Sierra nodded. I came here because the rift chose this room. The captain sighed. Then you'll want to see this. He gestured for them to follow him. They walked through long corridors, deeper into the academy than Eli had ever been before. Finally, they entered a large underground chamber filled with glowing screens and floating holograms. On one screen, a map of space showed several flashing red dots near the academy. The rifts, Captain Doran said, they're spreading. Eli stared at the map. How bad is it? The worst we've seen in decades, Doran answered. If they reach the station, it could collapse. We need experts to study them. Sierra stepped forward. I am a bridge walker. I can sense rifts and sometimes cross them. The captain raised an eyebrow. Bridge walker? Sierra explained. We are rare beings who can feel weak points between worlds. I was sent here because the artifact led me. Eli looked down at the cube in his hand. So I'm connected to. This too? Yes, Sira said. You have a part to play. Artifact reacts only to certain people. The captain nodded slowly. Then you two will join a special team. You will train and help us stop the rifts. Eli swallowed hard. I'm just a cadet. I don't know anything about this. You will learn, the captain said firmly. The future depends on it. For the first time since arriving, Eli felt a strange sense of purpose. Maybe this was why the alien girl had smiled at him. Maybe it was not a mistake. Days passed. Eli's training began. The academy's secret level was filled with advanced machines and strange technology. Humans and aliens worked together here. Studying the rifts and trying to close them, Sira taught Eli how to feel the energy shifts. She showed him how the artifact could open small windows into the rift dimension. It's like walking on the edge of two worlds, she explained. You have to be calm and focused. Eli tried hard but stumbled often. The energy was strange and made him dizzy. One day, Siro took him to a large room filled with glowing spheres floating in midair. These are samples from the rift, she said. Each one holds a part of the other world. Eli touched one gently. Inside, he saw twisted shapes and dark shadows moving slowly. Those are the Newly, Sarah whispered. They are energy beings. They can change shape and move through solid matter. Eli shivered. Why do they hate us so much? Sira's eyes darkened. Long ago, humans tested dangerous weapons on a distant colony. The Newly lived nearby. Their world was destroyed. They blame humans for their loss. But they want to wipe us out? Lee asked. Yes, Sira said. They believe humans are a threat to the galaxy. Eli felt a sudden anger. But not all humans are like that. Sira smiled softly. That is why we must stop the rifts, to protect all life. One night, Eli was alone in his room, held the artifact and looked at the stars outside. He thought about Earth, about his family, and about Sura. Suddenly the artifact pulsed with light. The walls shimmered again. And then a voice spoke in his mind. You are the key, Eli gasped. He looked. At the cube, it glowed brighter than ever. The rift was calling. The next morning, Eli and Sira met with Captain Doran and the special team. We have discovered the source of the rifts, the captain said. They are being forced open by a group of warriors. Sira frowned. They want to invade. We have a plan, the captain continued, and we'll send a team through a stable rift to their dimension. We will try to stop the invasion before it starts. Eli's heart pounded. You want me to go? Doran nodded. You and Sira are the only ones who can use the artifact safely inside the rift world. Eli looked at Sira. She smiled encouragingly. He took a deep breath. This is my mission, he said as they prepared to enter the rift. Eli felt both fear and hope. The academy said goodbye to them with quiet respect. Sira held his hand. Together, we will face the unknown. Eli smiled back. Let's stop the rift. Let's save our worlds. They stepped through the glowing portal, and the stars twisted around them. The journey into the other world had begun. Eli and Sira stepped out of the glowing portal into a place unlike anything Eli had ever seen. They stood in a vast chamber that seemed to stretch endlessly in every direction. The walls shimmered with shifting colors, blues, purples, and blacks. Moving like liquid light, it was quiet, but the silence felt heavy. This is the Rift Realm, Sira said softly, place between worlds. Eli looked around nervously. How do we survive here? It feels wrong. Sira smiled gently. Have to learn to control the energy. It'll protect us if we do. Before Eli could ask more, a group of beings appeared from the shifting light. They were different shapes and sizes, some human-like. Others clearly alien, but all wore uniforms marked with the symbol of the Alliance of Worlds. One stepped forward, a tall, gray-skinned alien with golden eyes. Welcome, he said in a deep voice. I am Commander Relic. You must be the new recruits. Eli nodded. I'm Eli Parker, and this is Sira. Relic smiled slightly. We have much to teach you. The rift is dangerous, but it can be used as a weapon or a shield. Followed Relic through the shifting corridors of the Rift Realm to a training hall. The floor glowed with lines of light, and strange machines hummed softly. Relic explained, "The Newly are not just energy beings. They are ancient and powerful. They lost their home because humans made weapons that damaged their world. Now they want revenge." Sira added, "We must learn to control the rift energy to stop them. If we fail, the rifts will grow, and their invasion will destroy everything." Eli felt the weight of responsibility settle on him. What can I do?" Relic handed him a small device, a wristband, glowing with soft blue light. "This will help you sense the energy around you. Focus on your breath, your heartbeat. Feel the space between worlds." For days, Eli trained under Sira and Commander Relax's guidance. He practiced moving through the Rift Realm, using the wristband to control the energy flow. At first, he stumbled. The strange environment made him dizzy. He saw shadows flicker at the edge of his vision and heard whispers like wind through the stars, but with Sira's calm voice guiding him, Eli learned to steady himself. He closed his eyes and breathed slowly, focusing on the feeling of energy under his skin. One day, during training, Eli reached out his hand and touched a floating orb of light. The orb shimmered and transformed into a small map, a star chart of the galaxy with pulsing red spots marking rifts. "Good," Relic said. "You are learning to read the rift energy." Sira smiled. "You are stronger than you know." After weeks of training, Eli felt ready. But then Sira took him aside. "There is something you need to see," she said quietly. They walked through the Rift Realm to a chamber filled with holographic images. Sira pointed to a swirling mass of dark energy at the center. "That is the Newly core," she said. "Their leader. It controls the rifts and sends warriors through." Eli stared at the moving light. "Can we stop it?" Sira nodded slowly. "If we can destroy the core, the rifts will close. But it is protected by many traps and shadows." Suddenly, the hologram shifted. Eli saw shape-stark creatures moving through the rift, hunting. "We must be ready," Sira said. Eli felt a cold fear, but he looked at Sarah and found strength. "We will stop them," he said. Later, Eli dreamed strange dreams. He saw himself walking through a broken Eartha world, shattered by war and darkness. People ran, hiding from shadowy figures. But in his dream, Eli also saw hope. A light shining from a distant star, growing brighter. He woke up, heart pounding. Sira was beside him. "You had a vision," she said softly. "It is a warning." Eli nodded. "We have to stop this future." Sira smiled. "And we will. Together." One day, while practicing control over the artifact, Eli accidentally opened a small rift in the training hall. From it, a dark shadow slipped out. A newly scouted hissed, a sound like crackling static. Eli froze. Sira reacted quickly. She grabbed Eli's hand, and the artifact glowed bright. A shield of energy surrounded them. Pushing the shadow back, the scout hissed again, then vanished back through the rift. "Close call," Sira said, breathing hard. "They are getting stronger." Eli looked at the artifact. "We have to be ready for the real battle." Commander Relic gathered the team. The Newly prepared to invade through the largest rift. "It is near the academy. We must stop them before they arrive." Eli and Sira exchanged a look. "This is our chance," Eli said. "We go together," Sira said firmly. They prepared their gear, energy weapons, the artifact, and their training. The air buzzed with tension. Eli thought of Earth, his family, and the future he wanted to protect. As they approached the rift near the academy, the air grew colder. The walls around the rift shimmered, bending like water. From the darkness, figures appeared, the Newly warriors. Their bodies flickered with energy, and their eyes glowed red. The battle began. Eli raised his weapon, and Sira held the artifact high. Energy clashed. Light met darkness. Eli felt fear, but also courage. With Sira's help, he used the artifact to create shields and blasts of light. Slowly, the Newly fell back, but the rift pulsed dangerously, growing larger. "We cannot hold them long," shouted. Eli looked at the artifact glowing in his hand. "We have to close the rift," he said. Sira nodded. "The core is inside. We must go in." They stepped into the rift, the world twisting around them. The training was over. The real fight was just beginning. Eli and Sira stepped through the glowing portal of the rift, and everything around them twisted and changed. The air felt thick and heavy, and colors swirled like a strange storm. It was a world unlike any they had ever known. Eli tried to steady himself. "Where are we?" Sira looked around, her eyes sharp. Inside the newly dimension, this place is their home. The world was dark and strange. The ground was rough and cracked, glowing faintly with blue light. Strange shadows flickered at the edges of their vision. The sky above was a swirling mass of black and purple clouds. This place. "It feels wrong," Eli said, shivering. Sira nodded. "It is. Time flows oddly here. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow, and the newly control much of it." They walked carefully through the cracked ground. Suddenly shapes moved nearby. Dark twisted figures, the newly warriors. The creatures were tall, made of flowing energy, with glowing red eyes and shifting forms, they hissed as they saw Eli and Sira. "Prepare yourself," Sira said, holding up the artifact. It glowed bright, sending waves of light. Eli raised his weapon, heart pounding. The newly rushed forward, their bodies shifting through the air like smoke. The battle was fierce. Eli fired blasts of energy while Sira used the artifact to create shields and bursts of light. One. Newly warrior lunged at Eli. He dodged just in time, feeling a cold touch pass through his armor. Sira shouted, "Focus on the artifact. It's our power here." Eli took a deep breath and concentrated. The artifact pulsed in his hand, and suddenly, a wave of light spread out, pushing the newly back. But more came. They were endless. "We can't fight them all," Eli yelled. Sira looked at him. "Then we must find the core and destroy it. It controls them." They moved deeper into the strange landscape, shadows growing longer. At one point they entered a place where time seemed to flow backward. They saw people and creatures moving in reverse, speaking in strange voices. "It's the rift's power," Sira said. "It distorts reality." Eli felt dizzy, but kept moving. He held tightly to the artifact. After hours, they reached a dark tower floating above the cracked ground. It pulsed with black energy. "That must be the newly core," Sira said. They approached cautiously. Inside the tower, the air was thick with power. Lights flashed around them, and strange symbols floated in the air. At the center floated a large being made of shifting light and shadow. Its eyes burned bright red. "I am the core," it said in a voice like thunder. "Humans have destroyed worlds. We must end your kind." Eli stepped forward. "We don't want to fight. We want peace." The core laughed, a sound like cracking ice. "Peace. After what you did, your wars destroyed our home." Sira spoke gently. "Not all humans are the same. We want to learn and grow." Eli held up the artifact. "Look at what we can do together. We can build, not destroy." The core's eyes flickered. Suddenly, Eli's mind filled with images. His home on Earth, his family, moments of kindness, friendship between humans and aliens, and hope for the future. The core seemed to hesitate. Eli took a step closer. "You don't have to destroy us. We can change." The core pulsed with light, then shattered like glass. The dark shadows vanished. The rift began to close. Eli and Sira ran back through the twisting world as the ground beneath them folded and shimmered. Finally, they burst out of the rift. Back into the academy. The stars shone bright and steady. The rift was gone. Eli looked at Sira. "We did it." She smiled softly. "For now, but other challenges will come." Eli woke up in his room at Orion Academy. The sunlight from the stars outside filled the window, warm and calm. For a moment he thought everything was normal, but deep inside he knew things had changed. He sat up and looked around. The room was quiet, No strange lights, no shaking walls. The rift was gone. He touched the artifact resting on his desk. It was dim now, but he felt its power pulsing softly like a heartbeat. Syrah was nowhere to be seen. Eli felt a mix of sadness and hope. He remembered her words, "I must leave now. The rift will call me elsewhere." He had wanted to ask if they would meet again, but Syrah had only smiled, the same soft, knowing smile from the first day they metanned, said, "I know." Eli stood and walked to the window. Stars outside shone brightly, peaceful. He thought about everything they had been through, the rift, the battle, the core. The academy was safe, but his journey was not over. Days passed. Eli trained with the academy, but his mind often wandered. He thought about Syrah, about the other worlds, and about the responsibility he now carried. He knew the artifact was not just a tool, it was a symbol of hope. One afternoon, as Eli sat, studying in the common hall, a new student approached him. She was young, bright green eyes, and silver hair that glowed faintly under the lights. She smiled shyly. "Excuse me," she said. "I think I'm in the wrong room." Eli's heart skipped. He smiled back and said, "Maybe not." The girl laughed softly. Eli felt a warmth inside, remembering Syrah's smile. Meanwhile, far away in the stars, Syrah traveled alone through space. She visited new worlds, looking for other rifts, helping where she could. She was no longer a student at the academy, but a bridge-walker, guardian of the fragile borders between worlds. Every time she thought of Eli, she smiled. She knew their paths would cross again, because the rifts would call her, because Eli was ready. Back on the academy, Eli stood on the balcony, watching the stars. He held the artifact in his hand, feeling its soft glow. He whispered, "This is only the beginning." He looked up at the vast universe, full of hope and endless possibilities, and with a smile he stepped forward into the future.